This is Alex Fabian, and this is Go Pro Basketball.
What team? It broke!
No, it's still going. Hey everyone, I'm Dylan from Christian Fellowship Church.
I'm Joe Deptowicz from Christian Community Church.
I'm Alex from Linworth Road Church. We're here just to share with you guys some of our thoughts and ideas, responses, and some of the things that we've been doing and have planned over these next couple of weeks in regard to youth group and how to help kids grow in their faith over these next couple unprecedented weeks. I don't know. I mean, Dylan, how are you feeling about all this stuff? Like, what's your thoughts?
Oh man, I want to know more importantly, like, what was your guys' first thought when you found out, like, oh no, like everything is getting canceled, and you were like, I'm gonna have to completely rethink youth ministry.
My first thought was, do I have everybody's Fortnite gamer tag?
Important things to know.
I'm kidding.
I mean, it hit me when I, less about the youth ministry, it hit me first when sports got canceled. And I was like, oh shoot, it's real. And then it was like, it went from, okay, this is real, to now like, why is everything getting canceled? So like, okay, for a long time, I was more of like, oh, this isn't like that big of a deal. You know, it's kind of over here and it's not in Ohio yet. It's not really like a big thing in the US yet. So it was kind of out of sight, out of mind. And I was kind of downplaying a lot of it. And then as it, you know, things started getting canceled, it started being, you know, there are cases in Ohio. It was like, oh, this is real, you know. And then things started getting canceled, and it's like, okay, like how do we have to figure out how we're going to respond, especially as Christians, you know.
I think to your point, it felt so far away, as a lot of these things often do. Most of you guys weren't alive when 9/11 happened, September 11, 2001. I was in 7th grade, and that was the first time for me hearing about something that it was like history was unfolding in real time. Like, it was like, this is going to be a big thing for a lot longer of a time than just these next couple of days. And nobody knows how to respond to it because we've never had anything like this happen in America. And that's exactly what I've been feeling like this whole time is nobody knows how to respond to this, but we're going to remember this for years and generations to come. And I think to Joe's point, once the little things that we have every single day that we take for granted every single day start to get canceled, we don't have those anymore. Like the little freedoms, like getting home after a long day, turning on ESPN and watching a basketball game, or running to the store for just one or two things that you need and not planning out, this is what I'm going to need for the next couple of weeks potentially. That's when it gets really weird, and I think that's where we don't really know how to respond. And then once you get all that out of the way, it's like, how am I going to do my job? How am I going to engage with kids? How am I going to talk to people and do all these little things? And so I think for me, my initial thought was like, okay, this is far away. It's not a big deal. And then I was like annoyed. I was inconvenienced because it's still, when they started canceling all the games and stuff, it was like, oh, you know, we're going to play games but without fans. It's like, okay, like that's inconvenience, weird. But then it was like watching it unravel in real time. Like it was the Oklahoma City Thunder game. Like the doctor sprinted out onto the court, and it was like, this is bananas. And then they canceled the whole league that night, and it just felt like everything was rushed. But in retrospect, it's like that potentially saved thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of lives. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, that's kind of what I thought.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it hit really hard. We have a 10-year-old that's living with us right now, and when they were like, oh, hey, we're going to cancel school for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, shoot, this is getting real. And then as we got closer to Sunday service, it was, I'll be honest, I was a little bit relieved because I didn't have a teacher for our elementary class, and I was like, okay, I guess I'm going to be the one doing it. And I didn't have everything planned, and then it was like, oh, I guess I don't have to plan things now, so that's kind of exciting. But then it all started, you know, hitting all at once of like, this is a total shakeup of our daily routines, you know, potentially altering the rest of the school year and all kinds of stuff. And so it went from, you know, whatever, to, oh man, this is directly affecting my family, to, oh, this is directly influencing my job.
In the world.
Yeah. And so it just kept expanding from myself outward, into this realization of now where we're at of, you know, some people feeling frustrated with like, 6 feet and having to, wash your hands a ridiculous amount of times a day, and trying to be more aware of touching your face, which I think I've touched my face at least 3 times so far in this video. And so and then it's like, okay, that's really annoying, but backing up from that and having to be like, it's not about me right now, right? And trying to process through that. I don't know. So there's a lot of things going through my head with all of this. I want to say this, I guess, too. Like, I'm not afraid of anything. I'm not scared about all this going on. What makes you say that confidently? That you're not afraid? Yeah, I mean, for one, just from the simple facts, my age group is not the at-risk one. So it's this concept of like, even if I get sick, it's going to be a little bit of an inconvenience, but it's not a fatal sickness for me. But then even backing up even more, it really is one of those things of like, what do I have to worry about? When churches started closing their doors, you started seeing all these people coming out of the woodworks of this big debate of like, should churches close their doors? We should have faith in God that we're going to be okay. And we should, and we do. But more importantly, it's about taking care of our neighbors and taking care of the people around us, or the people we interact with. If we continue to meet as churches and we all pass around our whole community, and then we go out to the grocery store and pass around to that community that aren't connected to us, right? It would be a whole thing of that. And so there is this idea of like, we do have faith in God. We do have the ability to lean on Jesus during this time. But that's not why we're not reacting out of fear. We're not reacting because of a lack of faith. But our faith really roots us in why we feel like we're okay, why we feel we're secure, and really should even more than maybe some other people ground us in why we are choosing to not meet right now. Because all of our youth groups are, for the foreseeable future, not going to be meeting in person very much or at all. And there's a part of that is really tough, but there's a part of that is because we love people that don't come to our church. Yeah, that is why we aren't.
That's good. That's a great way to put it, Joe. Are you afraid?
No, their fear is a very real thing. No doubt it's there. But I think our faith, is what extends past that. I think the difficult thing is the way it comes in waves. It seems to be coming in waves. Yeah. It's like I heard somebody just talking about it the other day that we make plans on Sunday, and by Monday those plans are like outdated. And then the same thing happens on Tuesday and Wednesday. There's something new happening each day. There's more cases. I think even just today, as we're recording this, it's like the cases in Ohio doubled. Just today. And so there's so much we're learning and so many things changing so fast that at this radical pace, it's easy to like freak out. Yeah, exactly. But I think we've been going actually through this series about slowing down and unhurrying our life. We look at the pace of Jesus, right? He always was willing to be interrupted and slow down and go to God, in silence and solitude and in all ways. And I think that's one thing that's helped me is I very much felt the fear. All these waves hitting. Some financial things, some going to the store and actually seeing like everything just bare bone, like cleaned out, no TV, weird. No canned food, like no meat, like lunch, like deli meat, food. Crazy. And like it's each of these things I see and experience, it becomes more real. Like this is a pandemic. This is, like you said, history is like literally unfolding. It's something that like our kids and kids' will probably learn about, in their schools. And I think all of it is going to drive us to what is our hope in it. Like what is the thing that we find to be our source of the most powerful thing, I guess, in our life. That's where I think a fear of God, a fear that God, it's a respect. It's do we respect the coronavirus more than we respect God? Yeah. Or do we know that God is more powerful and still working in the midst of this, still pulling us near to Him? Even in this brokenness and this sickness. Yeah.
So I think a lot of the fears that you guys have are certainly understandable. For me, some of the things that I really struggled with was how much do I tell my kids? To Joe's point, you're saying you're making plans on Sunday, and by Monday you're changing your plans. It's like you can't plan too far ahead. And I've definitely gotten caught up in that, thinking about my daughter Harper, who's going to start to go to preschool in the fall. What's that going to look like? What is the long-term effects of that? And I think we have seen so many things unfold over so many years in history, and things change. We've seen technology changes, we've seen architecture changes, we've seen medical changes. Things that happened that were great when I was a kid are now not the ways that you're supposed to raise kids 30 years later. Things change, but what doesn't change is God. We saw Jesus Christ come to this earth 2,000 years ago to stand in our place, to atone for our sin, and that hasn't changed. The world has changed. Civilization has changed. Economic things have changed. So much has changed, even me, in the last 30 seconds of this video, but God stays the same. And I think that's what we need to hold on to. That's the truth that we need to have in a world of misinformation. I read an article about how some agency was hacked and they were releasing false information. CVS, to the best of their own intentions, sent out a memo that didn't contain true information that people were sending it around. That wasn't intentional, but things change. Misinformation's out there. It's not too hard to find it. Everybody all of a sudden has a medical degree from twitter.com. And I think what we need to do is we need to figure out what is the truth. And the truth is that there is a God who is the creator of the world, the author of salvation, the sustainer of our lives, that sent us his son to die on the cross for our sins so that we may know how much he loves us. And the love that he has for us is a love that casts out all fear. The love that he has for us is a love that allows us to wake up every single day and see good in the midst of panic all across the world. That Jesus that came to this earth is the same Jesus that loves you and loves me and will remain the same. And so I think, over these next couple of days, we're going to record more videos talking about our response to this. What are some encouraging things? How have we seen God working in this? And maybe, try to facilitate some challenges to you guys to keep you guys focused on God in this time, focused on what you can do to be growing in your faith, even though we don't know what youth group is going to look like, or small groups, or discipleship groups, or serve the city, or retreats, lock-ins, whatever. We know that those are just programs. Those are just vessels that we use to get you to understand Jesus. And so we may substitute in-person discipleship groups with Zoom chats or different things, but the foundation is the same, and that's Jesus, and that will never change. And so we're excited to roll this out with you guys and hear from you. So if you have anything that you want us to talk about, any questions that you have, or thoughts, comments, concerns, whatever, just let us know. And remember that we love you. We love all of you equally. Yikes.
Your love is holding on.